Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, just hanging out. I thought that I would go ahead and do another hobby hangout. So we'll go to the downward cam here and waste no time. I got some chill beats going on in the background. Sorry about this mess. It's a bunch of milliput that went awry. And so I'm sure we'll get some questions about that. But I went ahead and got all my videos for the week uploaded. And so yeah, we're just ready to hang out and do some painting. So, what I got in front of me, in case friends were curious about the, what do you call it, the thumbnail image. Basically, I kind of put it in the show notes that the Warban in the new Warhammer Underworlds Beastgrave set is super good for Nurgle stuff, just because it gives you +1 to hit. I mean, it's good for everything that can take them, but especially good when Blight Kings have the 6+ still wording for their exploding weapons. And so yeah, first time painting Beasts of Chaos since I got rid of mine, and I gotta say, wish I had contrast paints back in the day. I'm just throwing a little bit of gloss varnish here on the lens of my telescope. If you want a good picture of what I'm working on right now, excuse me, you can head over to Instagram or Facebook and see a picture of this guy. Basically, one of the last times I was streaming, let me grab a flush tone, here we go. One of the last times I was streaming, I asked the chat, like, hey, what's a good narrative reason to have this group of Beasts of Chaos sailing on the Deluge, right? The ship that everything is kind of centered around. And one of the people in the chat, and I'm going to go back and find out who it was so I can give them total props, said, well, make them like a navigator, just someone they would hire on for a temporary basis to kind of get them from point A to point B. And I love that idea, just giving them a purpose on... Ooh, never mind, got to start over. Accidentally somehow got some gloss varnish into the skin, and I don't want that. Make him a navigator. And so basically the kit bashing that I did was I cut off his like spear, like the icon that he had, and I found a telescope bit from a D&D set of, I don't know, accessories, and so now he can act as a navigator. So yeah, that's what I did. So let's see, hello everyone in the chat. I see it's populating. Got Phoenix, Trev, Kenny, Pop, Super Sunbrows, Real Orange Jack, hello my friend, we meet again. Oh, it's been a while. Where should we begin? Yeah, it is going well. Thank you everyone for your kind words. What's up, Doug? I'm in the UK. It's really late and I was about to stop painting these damn Kurnoth hunters. Well, yeah, usually on my Fridays I always try to do a show that's a little bit more appropriately timed for UK viewers, especially, and just anyone in Europe. So I do that. Typically it always starts around 1-ish. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later, just kind of depends on kind of what the missus is up to and what our day's looking like. But I always try to think of people over there. So now I'm just doing some highlights to the skin. Pop Burnsy, what color did you use for the Beastman flesh? For the flesh, I still did the old... basically, I primed them with a brown primer that I own. It's just like a store flat brown thing. And I just did Bugman's Glow for the flesh, but for the fur patches, I went over that with Wildwood. So that's how I did that. So... yeah, and the skin I didn't do anything special or anything with contrast really, but I'm told that I could have used like Gilliman flesh or Fireslayer flesh over like that Bugman's Glow and it would have looked really cool. But I haven't tried that yet. I didn't even think about it when I was doing it. So, go ahead and let me know what you are working on in the chat. Cinderfall, hello, hello. Bet you're excited. Your book's coming out. sweet, sweet free people, cities of Sigmar armies for you. I guess it's not free people anymore, really. Let's see. Been a long time since I've been able to drop in on a live stream. Oh, Ken Houston, yeah, it's been a bit. Welcome back, friend. It's been a bit, so you didn't miss much though. Just been chatting around with people. If anyone has any topics you want to dive into or questions for me, please ask away, just so we have something to chat about. But I was just going to be sitting here painting in silence, and I was like, you know what? I like to save all the podcasts I have downloaded and videos that I have to watch still for work. So I was like, let's just throw the camera on and we'll do some chatting with folks. This is the most tedious part, is highlighting all the skin. But after that, we'll be going pretty quick. Are the Skaven a type of beastmen? Nope, they're their own thing. Whereas, I mean, I guess you could describe them similarly in terms of like part man, part beast, and they're just a rat. But lore-wise, like the Great Horn Rat is its own thing, separate from the primordial craziness of the beastmen. I just started taking a new medication for my throat because the cough won't go away after that stupid cold that I had. So hopefully that'll be clearing up soon. Jack's almost done with his Cogsmith. Yeah, it looks sweet. I'm excited for this season book. I mean, for as much legitimate upsetness there was with how they, the way that they went and pruned all the models from some of those ranges. I have seen a lot of people getting very excited about the army. And painting up all kinds of different stuff we just hadn't seen a whole lot of. So like, oh, good for that. That's good. Let's see, just started Underworlds today with Magor's Fiends. Sweet. I like Magor's Fiends, they're cool. Some cool models in there. I got a free set from my grab bag at Nova. Because I was one of the first like 400 people. And they were giving those away. It was cool. Have not had a chance to play him yet, but that's alright, I'll get around to it. Let's see. Working on the new Kill Team starter box. Cool. Who came in the Kill Team starter box? Is that I can't remember who came in that. It wasn't the same armies. Was it Genestealer Cult versus Space Marines? I remember being really excited about it when they first showed that they were redoing the starter kit, and then I just completely forgot to buy it. Which I probably should still if I have an interest in Kill Team, which I do. I mean, it seems like a really fun game. I've played several games of it. It is fun. certainly had fun playing with my Death Guard. They're tough as nails, and I love it. There we go. For some reason his face just didn't look quite right. Sorry, I was being quiet. Okay. Oh, I fell behind a little bit. Sorry. Good evening, Cold Shoulder. Do we know if orcs are getting endless spells? Nope, no endless spells. Just, I don't think they're getting anything, are they? There's nothing coming out for them. It's just basically the combination of Bonesplitters stuff is kind of the best gift that Iron Jaws can get, I suppose. Bodies with spells and all kinds of cool stuff. I was having this debate, not debate, we were not debating. I said something and then he said something and that was it. I was talking to Brent from Rolling Ones, and it's funny, so I played Bonesplitters before, and I was about to get back into them. And I said, well, looking at their war scrolls, oh, you know, I don't think they changed a whole lot. Like, the wording changed on a few things to bring it in line with, like, kind of the current age of wording. And he's like, no, I think quite a bit has changed. And so I just wanted to ask anyone's thoughts. If you are a Bonesplitters player, you have looked at the faction, do you think that things have changed very much? I know, like, some abilities have been added, like, generally, if you have more than 15 models in a unit, you get some kind of bonuses and that kind of stuff, which I think kind of lends itself to the Horde style that they already wanted to do. So that's, you know, it is new. I just didn't think it was like that they dramatically changed the war scrolls really at all. So I'm curious as to what everyone else's thoughts on that one are. I also think it was one of the more fun armies because of the craziness of it. So let's see. Rave War, are we doing Underworld stuff? Yes, this is the Underworld Warband from Beastgrave because it's really, really good in combination with Magcan of Nurgle. Like when you take him in Age of Sigmar, I mean. I wish Sadie's book had more interplay between different sub-factions. As far as I can tell, they don't interact. What do you think about Magor the Shadow Grave coming back? Since he could never truly die. Yeah, is there an announcement about that, or are you just talking about like in lore in general because he couldn't die before? If that's what it is, I mean, he is technically back in the sense of people still revere him in the Beasts of Chaos book. But I mean, like, in terms of like getting a model and rules and all that, I'm fine with it. I love when they move away from the old world stuff, if I'm honest. But that's 100% a personal opinion, not anything else. They already made a bunch of cool characters, but they don't touch on them anymore, like Vandus Hammerhand and Corvus Cole and that kind of stuff. Let's see. Back on the Beastman horse? No, I'm not on the Beastman horse. This is just the one warband. Just the one. I don't even remember being a huge fan of the Beasts of Chaos like Nurgle battalion, the one that would make them Nurgle. I don't remember. I think it's like every time a unit dies, I got a 2-up, they explode, do a mortal wound or something to everyone nearby, which is cool. It's just not like Armageddon. Need Pesta Gore, kind of good. Okay. That is everyone's flesh. Good. That's my least favorite part, is doing all the little flesh bits, because like there's just so much of it on them. I'm probably going to grab some KO in the near future. I think having an Ironclad as an ally would be fun, just because, if I remember correctly, one of these cities can take KO. Yes, I don't remember which one, but one of them can have Carriage and Overlords in faction, so you don't have to ally at all. Space Marines and Tau for the second Star Collecting box for, or the second starter set for Kill Team. Thank you. Let's see, I'm going to get caught up on the questions here while this stuff's drying. Let me grab my next paint here. What am I going to do next? I don't know, they're coming up pretty well already. Dude, Johnson. Shabti. And we'll go from there. Okay. City of Sigmar is a giant sandbox I can play in. Got a deal on Steam Tank, 20 handgunners and 30 halberdiers. Never had an interest in owning these models before now. That's awesome, Jack. I love it. Excited to see it. Let's see. Ken Houston, yes, I did. 100% Fallen Nurgle. I love it. Omniphage is buying in the City of Sigmar. Yeah, it seems like general people are just very excited about it. I'm enthusiastic when people really seem like they're enjoying a new book that comes out. There's a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of fear of new stuff, especially when so many model kits drop and that kind of thing. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit to answering a question here from Omniphage. Question, doing anything to make them Nurgle? If you want the reason to run Nurgle Beastmen, I can yammer about it, but I don't want to spam the chat. Well, you're welcome to share whatever you want lore-wise, but basically, the lore behind my Nurgle project has been that they are the ferrymen of Nurgle taking his armies all across Giran. And so I asked the chat in an older episode, you know, what's a narrative reason that a Nurgle warband, right, would have these guys with them? And so one of the things that came up in the chat was somebody said, oh, he can take them as like navigators, like that they see something, I don't know, in the stars or some primordial way of figuring things out. And they're leading, like basically they hired the ferrymen to bring them somewhere where they can cause all kinds of destruction and mayhem. And so I was like, I like the idea of the navigator. Like that's a cool, you know, it kind of loosely fits into my nautical theme and all that. So that's exactly what I did. So I did some few conversions just on the hero guy, because he's like the standout. He's the whole reason I'm taking him. And then the kind of Nurgle colors for some of the other guys. But yeah, so I replaced his big like skull staff thing that he came with a telescope on a hand, so you can like plant it down and look through it. And that is he is the navigator. And so that is his role in the army. And so with that, he's going to be a little debuff machine against my opponents, and all around just be a cool dude. I was going around doing little tiny highlights. I don't want to do too much because I want his all his clothes to still look kind of dirty and stuff, but do a little something. Let's see. Question. If you were to expand on your Nurgle force, would you turn to Beasts of Chaos, Clan Pestilence, or Slaves to Darkness? Let's see. Beasts of Chaos, Clan Pestilence, or Slaves to Darkness? That's a tough one. Because I've done all of those. Honestly, the thing that I was just looking at earlier today is some stuff from Forge World, the Tomerkin's Horde thing. Because, as I've expressed before on this channel, always trying to be that special snowflake, right? Who brings the weird stuff that no one else ever sees. But from your list, maybe Slaves to Darkness? Kind of depends on how that whole faction like mellows out once a book for them drops, which I would love. I'd love to see a book for them. And even though I already painted almost all of those, but I don't want to do Skaven because I don't want the horde element. I would maybe do like some Plague Claw catapults. That's about it. And as far as Beasts of Chaos, I don't remember their rules being that impressive, to be honest, with the neural keyword, I mean. But I might be wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering. Let's see. You guys are offering awesome Cities of Sigmar chat. Zombie Man, nope, I just started up. I was just hanging out, already going to be painting, and I thought, oh, I can turn the chat on, I can turn the camera on, see how people are doing. Seems like everyone's on the Cities of Sigmar train. It's cool, it's cool. Knowing me, I'll wait until no one's playing it in a couple months, and then I'll pick it up. And I'll be very passionate about it. Explanation of why beasts with Nurgle? Oh, like why I'm painting these beasts? So the Underworlds factions all have Age of Sigmar War Scrolls, and so their War Scroll is super interesting, where this is the leader. He's a wizard, and his spell, he targets a unit, and it does D3 mortal wounds. Not amazing, not bad. But in addition, it gives everyone +1 to hit that thing, which in Nurgle is pretty amazing. Because they still use some of the old language as far as on a 6+ rather than an unmodified hit roll of a 6. Told you about that. I meant that I explained the Beast of Nurgle synergy earlier. Oh, like with the whole faction? I'm sorry, I must have missed it in the chat. I did have to speed up a little bit to get caught up with the conversation. Everyone got super into sees a Sigmar and I fell behind. Love my Beast of Chaos. Painting up a Chimera shortly. Just finished 20 gores starting on Zoo. I love it. Let's see. I made free guild Pistoleer. Super cool. Being able to shoot, charge, shoot again. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be nasty. When you start messing with action economy like that. In terms of how many effective volleys of shots a unit can get off before it is tied down or forced to shoot certain targets. I'm excited to see it. I'm curious as to how, like, if people are going to build like lore-based armies, like if the rules support it in such a way to like some of the more lore-based armies are actually very effective, or if we're going to see random, crazy, game-breaking combinations of weird stuff. I don't know. I'm interested. I mean, there's always going to be folks who like doing that, but I love it when a book is good, but not just good, but good in a way that incentivizes us to like tell cool stories. Even if you're going to a match play event, you know, doing the tournament thing, you can still have your own little custom narrative and not get your teeth crushed in just for showing up, wanting to have fun rather than win. What do we got? Beasts complement every Chaos God faction with their battalions, as well as they work on their own due to their speed. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think there's like no use for them. For sure. And the basic shaman spell is still super good. I mean, I can ally some in, because they don't even have to have the battalion. I can just ally in some super cheap dudes, because they can still do that, I believe. With the way things are currently written, because well, I can't ally in everything, but I can ally in. I think it's Brayherd stuff. Is the way it pans out. You could not have made the ridges on his stupid horns any more fine. Question: does the new Orc War Clans book you reignite your desire to play Bonesplitters? No, not yet. Vince Ventrella thinks I'm crazy, but no, nothing's. I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, when I'm done with a project, I'm like super mega done. Like, that's why I can do all these trades and swaps and have a zero regrets. Is like, when I'm done, I'm done. And I still have some of them, but to get to a point where I can play Bonesplitters, I would have to paint a ton of them, and I don't even know when I would do that, to be honest with you. Like, between the Maggotkin project, and I do want to do a whole bunch more of Warcry battle reports, and so I need to do a lot of terrain work on that, so it would just be a long while regardless. And at the end of that wait period, it is a lot of dudes to paint, so I'm not sure if that's really a prize. But yes, Vince does not want me to sell mine quite yet. So I promised him I would at least play a game with him. My Iron Jaws, that is. I don't have enough Bonesplitters to play a full game, but... I'll fall on a sword, more boys, and bore boys. Yeah, so I have it's tough. So like I thought about it. I had offered to Michael in the chat. Oh yeah, I have like a bunch of more boys, that kind of stuff. And then I remembered like, oh man, I want to keep some for Shadespire Warband. That's important to me. No, not Shadespire. Warcry Warband. So I got to figure out how many I'm willing to part with. I do have 10 fully painted. Quite gorgeous, if I do say so myself. Boar boys. And they return Beast of Chaos sweep back into the channel. Oh my goodness. Not quite. I think it'd be soul crushing if I had to start all over with that army. Okay. Still debating whether or not to get some Beast of Chaos for my Slanesh force. Definitely want Chaos Warriors though. Yeah, I was thinking about the Beast of Chaos for Slanesh when we first saw what Slanesh was going to be like. I was just thinking, with the amount of run and charge that's in Beast of Chaos, like it just seems whatever the host that gets you depravity points based on charging, man, it just seems like that would be so stinking good. I'm not tournament gamer and like that, so don't take my word for it, but mixing that with stuff like Keepers of Secrets going in there and being aggressive, and you can just keep pouring out depravity points, which I suppose they can already do anyway, so it's not really losing anything, but you know. Next week is pre-orders for the Ghoul Underworlds Warban, and finally the Lizard Blood Bowl team. That's so crazy. I thought that was out for a while, the Lizard one. I feel like they previewed it forever ago. Am I wrong? Next week, it's still been almost 2 months waiting for the Blood Bowl team. Oh, okay, so I'm not crazy, yeah. Okay. Anyone else think it's hilarious that they named the Dwarf Box Fastness? Take a swap of Hobby Juice here. And what is the next color on the docket? Let's grab these two and highlight some green. 4-inch move. Banging on all cylinders with your 4-inch move. I love it. Hunter, have a great day. Thank you. You too. I went with making all of the cowls and stuff like that green on these guys because I wanted to kind of play up the idea of the Pesta Gores without, like, you know, they're still a named warband, so they're not actually Pesta Gores, but I wanted to kind of dive into that look a little bit. This Doug jumping into Beastgrave. I have Beastgrave. I grabbed it. This is for Nurgle forces specifically, but I do plan on playing. I was playing Underworlds a little bit right before Nova, and then Warcry came out, and I got very distracted. But I like it. I like the game. I really love the direction it's headed, to be honest with you. As far as like making it much easier to onboard with all the new armies coming out this time that have like basically like themed decks that are pre-built for them that are not bad. So that's kind of the idea. Forgot this guy has like a Pesta Gore buddy that comes with him. I like him. these guys. And right now, my whole project is kind of stalled out because I didn't realize how fast I was burning through green stuff, and so I have to wait for more to come in. So I ordered a huge quantity of it off of Amazon, and so now I think it's supposed to come in on Wednesday. But yeah, slows me down just a smidge. I was supposed to be doing like a big, I called it Basapalooza in my last hobby update video with these guys, where I was just going to sit down and just do all the bases I need for all the stuff that I already own. And realized very quickly, oh, I don't have enough for that. So I got enough done just to do the bases for these guys, which still need to prime and paint, but gave me a little more leeway while I wait for everything else. Here we go. Let's seriously call them Pesta Gores and your Pesta Gores. Go right there. Let's see. Happy Hobby Hangout from eternally swampy Florida. Oh, no thanks. Let's see. Love Shadespire and the Beastmen are also good for many of us. Yeah. Dak, I really do enjoy the bits of Underworlds that I have played. I haven't played like a ton. I think I'm at like 10 or 12 games, something like that, in that region. I will say that deck building is, to me, the absolute least interesting part of that entire process of playing that game. It just is. It's just not how I enjoy myself. Like, I'm not a card game guy. Never have been. But so I mean, to do that, but I love the game. Like, I love, like, if they gave you like preset decks and just that was the game, I would still love it. So basically, I just I'm the guy everybody hates. I do some net listing just based on what I own. Not the most powerful stuff, but just like, hey, I want to play with these dudes, right? I don't care if they're good or not, but I'll make a list that someone else took to an event. Doesn't matter if they won, and that's how I'll build a list, basically. And then I will just run that same list until I can't, which is kind of the situation I'm in right now. They rotated out a bunch of the cards that I was using, which I am okay with. Because I think that kind of stuff, those hard decisions, tend to be very good for the health of the game. What is really funny though is I have been listening to a few YouTubers who, like, all they do is Underworlds. Like, they don't do anything or even really know anything about Age of Sigmar, and it's so stinking funny to hear them try and pronounce some of the stuff. Like, this is the Tzinka Warban. You're like, Tzinka? Ah, Zinch. Okay. That's cute. That's just straight up adorable. You're like, I'm so glad you guys found this hobby through this game. Please just check out Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Couldn't even go with the street name of Tiznich. That's the way you say it. Let's see. Okay, a lot of chatter in the chat box. That's awesome. If anyone has something specifically for me, go ahead and type in question in all caps so I can see it. Just because there's a lot going on, I don't want to miss anyone's question. Now I'm just doing all the little straps and things like that all over the staff. Those things, like I didn't want to go too crazy on detail with him just because, I mean, they're just allies and I'm sure at some point that spell will not be as useful. So they won't be around, but for the time being. Once upon a time called Zinch Zeknesh and didn't know. My childhood brain was convinced. Yeah, I keep asking my local GW store manager, like, you know, is it doing well? Like, are people talking about it, like, on their manager level? And he keeps saying, like, oh, it's a massive success. They'll love it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm excited to have it around. I know they were really targeting kind of that Magic the Gathering type bunch. Who are kind of used to that format. So if it's working, good for them. Plot twist, Ether Gold is actually just gaseous Bugmans. Yeah, I want them to chat in the, at least make mention of it, like on the lore segment of the like the flyers that the dwarves have, the dispossessed, I mean, the gyrocopter and bomber and all that kind of stuff. Like, make mention of the fact that, like, and they heard about this fact that apparently some dwarves don't need giant propellers to do this. Like, right. Because cool dwarves use balloons. One in every 4 units can be carriage and overlords. Interesting. Interesting that they put that ally requirement. I guess, yeah, I guess you probably don't want to take a bunch of stuff. Spezia, summary question with the dwarves. Flying golden hagglers, shirtless, angry dudes, or heavy armored verbal savages. You're asking which one do I like the most? As far as all those, Fire Slayers are my jam. If I had to pick one of the Dwarden subsets, it would definitely be Fire Slayers. Okay, let me grab a contrast here. Yeah, naked fire dwarfs. Yeah, that's interesting. On the the limitations on how many you can have from other stuff. I like that. Question, what do you think the next destruction army will be? Are ogres due for an update? Do we see Spider Clan getting more love? Any new destruction faction? I definitely think ogres are definitely in the next up. Just because they've been mentioned, basically. Because GW doesn't tend to mention things unless there's something on the horizon. Even if it's a few months out. So there's that. And then, what else? As far as other stuff besides that, I haven't really heard of anything. As far as what I'd like to see, I would love to see a new kind of like, I think pirate grots were a thing that showed up in a few books, which I think sounds hilarious and fun. Like sky pirates, they have these crude flying machines, kind of like Heritage Overlords, but I'm assuming with wackier hijinks. And I'm just doing all the little horns. We do some cool blending on these big old horns to make them kind of go from like a brown to a bone color. Didn't Grots take over Chaos Skyport at some point? I'm not sure. If they did, I don't remember the book for it. But it seems like something they would try to do. Not putting him up in Pesta Gore green. His armor's green. It's tough. I wanted them to look, you know, kind of Pesta Gore-y, but at the same time retain the fact that they are a named unit and they do have their own lore. Let's see. Jesse Rodriguez, question: when theming an army, such as beasts, is it better to have them all in the same color, or split them up in between two colors that alternate between units? I think you meant red/blue. So to me, like, when it comes to theming an army, the biggest thing, I think, is the bases. For some reason, you can have units that look very different, especially if it's Beast of Chaos, where they're meant to be random. Like, they just pick crap up after a battlefield. Like, they can look very different model to model and still work cohesively. The basing really brings those together. I think that's a really important thing. Yeah, you can mix it up. I mean, I did like different flesh tones and things like that for my maggotkin that I'm doing right now, and I liked it. So I would definitely recommend trying different stuff for sure. Okay, so I need this. Need this. What else? This guy. Okay. Just this they did. They just checked the Glooms battle time. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't read all the full side stories from the Glooms book. There's just so many units in there. What in the tripped out little bottle stealing nonsense? That's a wonderful sounding thing. Okay. Let's do some wounds here. Yes, Atomic Topher. I didn't see your comment before. Yes, it is the new Underworlds warband. Because they is cool. I was all about this guy who's like cutting marks across his chest and like bleeding himself until I saw he has a huge gash on his butt cheek, so he's just like hacking at his butt. Speaking of which, these models, most predominant feature on all the Ungor, their butt cheeks hanging out. I'm not sure what artist was just like, no, the people need to know that they have terrible butt cheeks, and they're just like out there. I'm like, okay. That's Bill in model design. We don't talk to Bill. And add just a little dash of the Magos purple to their eyes so that they pop a little bit. Bootylicious of Chaos is exactly right. Oh my god, Knack, look at his butt. These guys are going pretty quick. One of the things I love about this warband, the rules-wise, is that the other 5 dudes besides this wizard, they can tank wounds for him. Like on I think it's a 4-up. They jump in front of whatever was attacking him, and they die in his place. And he's pretty much the only reason I'm bringing the warband, so it works out pretty perfectly. I love it, and I'm excited to have some crazy, crazy stories of them jumping in front of arrows and all that kind of stuff. It'll be fun. But it also means my painting motivation to put a ton of detail into the, extra wounds functionally is like pretty minimal. I see that comment about grots in the sky sparks some interest. That's cool. Tell you what, we'll go this one next. Living City has Guran Guard. Phoenician has Lions of Sigmar. Hallowheart has Hallowed Knights. Tempest Eye has Tempest Lords. Right on. Yeah, I'm very excited to jump into the lore on that book. Can't tell you enough. Take KO ship, remove the balloons, add giant gas squigs. I love it. Anvil Guard has anvils. Hammer Hall has hammer Sigmar. I think it'd be so fun, even if they kept the giant balloons, but like instead of ether gold, it was like trolls with the old school like billows, just billowing fire into it. I think that would look really sweet. Greywater Fastness. I cannot recall what their thing is. You know what I mean? Like their big claim to fame, if you will. Doug, their claim is ironic names. Fair enough. Sylvaneth are ticked off at them. Can't have them as allies. Interesting. Gotta get ready for work today. We'll chat again later. Have a wonderful day at work, cold shoulder. My back just cracked like the worst way. It feels so good. Okay. I need some blurred for the blurred gird. Here we go. Okay, he's good. Any blood on this guy? Yep. Totally adding to my anvils. Army with the Cities of Sigmar. Nice. Yeah, I think Anvil Guard is the one. If I had to pick a Cities of Sigmar army that really intrigues me, I'm actually considering, Jack suggested this, so all credit due to him, the idea of taking a bunch of Scourge Privateers, but then modeling them with other weapons to make them like Marauders for my pirate-themed army. So that'll be Marauders of Chaos. Mainly, I refuse to paint the old Marauders again. So that's mainly a way of avoiding that, but it would be, again, a lot of work for a unit of 20 models that just insta-die. So we'll see after I get finished with everything that I already own. How I feel about that. Give them hooves and run them as beastmen. That armor spell is amazing. Yeah, I like it. Like it quite a bit. No, honestly, I'm pretty happy with these guys. I think I'm almost done. Especially happy with Leader Boy. All these little dudes. They're alright. I realize that give them hooves is something I suggest too much. That's super funny. Alright, let's pick out. Unfortunately, my roller does not do too well with 25 mils. They're fine, it's just there's not a lot of room on them, so I can't do a whole lot of like adding cool things is the problem. So that's okay. Let's see, find my... We're gonna do this the hard way, because I don't want to go outside and prime everything, so I got brush on primer. How many phases? You read interesting question. So, can they have a water base? I am considering doing like sand bases, that they would be like the boarding party, so to speak. So it's definitely, I'm thinking about that one, especially because it would be very, very simple relative to all the other stuff I'm doing. Converting elves to Slanesh seems like a sure thing. Yeah. You could have a Davy Jones one standing in a bucket of water. Oh yeah, I forgot that scene. Let's see. So you're running Pestilent Throng now? No, not Pestilent Throng. This is the Warhammer Underworlds Warban from Beastgrave that have an incredible spell that will help me with my Maggotkin of Nurgle. Dealing D3 mortal wounds and giving everyone +1 to hit the target. So I'm very excited about that. Suppose things GW sent it to. I mean, I wasn't gonna go out and buy Beastgrave right away. I was gonna buy it eventually, but they sent it to me while I was in the process of kind of coming up with a little kind of a list and stuff like that, kind of a guide of like how to build and that kind of thing. And I was like, that seems good. We'll slide that in. Let's see. Very close to Doug's apartment. Should I crash the stream? You will be happily waiting outside until you give up. Jess isn't taking a bath right now, so no guests. twice. Once is a mistake, twice is a restraining order. I love it. Was going to convert a Dark Eldar Witch into a champion of Slaanesh, but they got rid of the mortal Slaanesh guys. Yeah. I will say that's something I mean, because it's not even like I feel like the army's missing something. I don't know anything about the army enough to comment on that, but it's more, I feel like I personally love the mortal side of things for all the Chaos Gods. I mean, all of them. Tzeentch, the Acolytes, and Khorne and the Bloodbound, that kind of stuff. I was really am drawn to the mortal side of things, and to just not have any real presence there outside of Slaves of Darkness, I was like, it's a bummer. But, I mean, they have all these epic books about heroes from different gods fighting and competing for, like, Archaon's favor, so I'm sure at some point there's going to be mortal Slaanesh stuff. I just don't know when. Agreed, though it's like they are suffering with... Yeah, I mean, that's the thing where it's like, it's hard to complain because the book is so freaking good. It's like, oh, they should have had more options to kill and murder and get mega charges, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, if you're going to be themey, and they actually have some really cool Slaanesh heroes in some of these books, like the one from, oh my gosh, the Black Pyramid, who's a Slaanesh Chaos Lord, he's mortal. He's just an absolute unit. Really cool dude. Like, oh, I want to be able to play that guy. So, let's see. Just doing the last little check on all these little dudes to make sure everything's fine. Let's see. Screaming Skull. Here we go. I think you can summon a bridge, teleport the Longbeards, and then grumble about the trip and dispel it. Do you guys have a bathtub in your living room or something? What if we do? That would be our business. Although we do have to have you over sometime. You just kind of come at the worst times, bro. Let's see. Nick Pentecost, we thought Doug was doing Rockin' the Maggotkin. I am. Yes, I am Rockin' the Maggotkin. These are allies for that. I should start doing that. Every week I should just start a stream like with painting a random unit just to freak people out. I thought you were doing this. No, I still got the Skaven. Still got the Beastman. What are you talking about? Of course I'm still painting these guys. You think I would get rid of an army like that? Shoot. You know what I mean? And just kind of... I guess that's technically a form of gaslighting. That's probably not very nice, but... Let's see. Doesn't everyone shake themselves dry like a dog after a bath? Excuse me. Super long name, not going to read, but hey, Doug, hi from South America. Hello. Really enjoying your content. as it introduced me to AOS great lore. I have a question. As Stormcasts are reforged hero souls, does that mean not all were human? It's great question. Like, are all Stormcast human is your question? My understanding is that it's not, doesn't have to be, but we don't have any explicit examples, to my knowledge, at least nothing that's coming up right now in my brain, of a non-Stormcast hero. So that's the best I can offer. But I'd love it if there were. Like, I would love to have like a Dwarven Stormcast. That'd be so cool. Okay. Where's my dryad bark? Booger Bros and Goat Boys. Yeah, I've said it a few times, so I don't want to. I'll make it really brief. But they have a spell that gives +1 to hit whatever enemy they target, so that works really well with the Blight King's exploding 6s. So that's kind of the idea there, and why I'm excited about them. Though I did spend a good portion of today looking at the Tomerkin's Horde models and war scrolls on Forge World. Really thinking about some of them. Maybe just because I don't see a lot of that kind of stuff. I'd love to see more. Like I love seeing Chaos Dwarves. There was a guy doing it at Nova, and I was like, I like that. You should do more of that. +1 to hit for Beast of Chaos is pretty great just overall. Yeah, no, I mean there's no unit in this game that suffers badly from getting +1 to hit. It's just a good all around, like, if you can't take it, why wouldn't you? It's just a matter of how positive it affects you. Hold on, what is this madness? I love it. You can always tell when someone hops in the stream. It's the Beastgrave Warband Druid. It's for Nurgle. They have a spell that works with them that I wanted to do, or I want to capture on. Let's see. Well, and what is next? So I got skin basically done. He's pretty much done, I think, for the most part. I like him. I feel like I just knew in my head what my next thing... Oh, that's right, I need to get the dry brushing for the wood bark. That's weird. Okay, one second. So I need that. I'm just looking for. I got a new dry brush paint that I really like, and I can't seem to find it. Aha. Here we go, Sylvaneth bark. Love it. I tried it out for the first time when I was doing the actual like bases themselves, and I gotta say, I really like it. Let's see. A few questions here while I was away. W. Soren, how you doing? If you are going on your Armies on Parade display board. I'm not going this year. I was thinking about display board, and I was like, that's a lot of pressure to do very, very last minute, because I always forget when it is, so I wasn't planning on it. But the idea is I'll catch it next year, so I will try and shoot for that. I've always wanted to do it. It's definitely like on my, hobby bucket list, so to speak, of just stuff I want to do. But it's just, I just always forget about it, and I always have mixed feelings about putting my stuff in for contests. Not because I think it's so great and unfair. I just I don't know. I don't ever want it to be like a popularity contest. I was talking about this last night with gentleman Craig as we were recording a While You're Reforging, and just like how sometimes if you're not really hip in the local scene of your store, all of a sudden you don't get as many votes when all of us and you get beat up by stuff that you're like, that seems unlikely. I don't know. Let's see. Omniface question: why not change the stream name to "These Are Allies" for Nurgle? I just really enjoy repeating the spell to get it really locked in my brain what it does. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. Let's see. Question: what does the rest of your Nurgle list consist of? Good question. So that is the Blight Cyst. So as of right now, I only have 20 Blight Kings, so they're in there. Lord of Blights, of course, has to lead it. What else is in there? Lord of Afflictions with 2 sets of Pasquale Blight Lords to go with him, just as backup. Harbinger of Decay and the Glotkin, I think. And I might, at some point, I'm going to drop the Glotkin. I like the model. It's just not... it isn't, like, I have to do a lot of work to get it to match kind of the theme of what I want to go for the rest of the army. And so I kind of want to like take my time on that, so I'll take him off the roster for a little bit and then put him back on later on. It's kind of my idea for right now, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a lot of big burly dudes. What a Stormcast made from a Sylvaneth soul angered life goddess. Oh, Alariel. There's no confirmation that happens. When Sylvaneth die, they turn back to soul pods. Let's see. Nick Pentecost question: will we be doing an updated lore videos for orcs when the battle tome drops? Of course. Yeah, I'm excited to... What I really want from the book is for them to reestablish Gordrak as the big bad. Like, he's just right now, because we don't have a Gorka Morka model, and they only ever talk about him in terms of like being a myth and a legend. I really want the book to reestablish him as like, this is the Archaeon of destruction. You know what I mean? Like that level of character for the other side. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Hope it does that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it pans out rules wise. I haven't looked at any videos that talk about the rules, but yeah, there's a few things I'm excited for to hopefully see with the lore. Let me get this guy's teeth real quick. Yeah, I think it's a bummer that destruction, it just fell pretty hard by the wayside, I think, with all the we'll call it the hubbub in Shyish. And I just really want them to kind of refocus on like, no, these guys are like also here and also terrifying. Things are bad everywhere. I also kind of reached the point, and I've had a few people mention this to me, and now I've personally reached it too, where it's like, you know, I'm kind of ready to be out of Shyish. I'd like to explore something else. Really would love to explore the realms of light and shadow. But I don't know. Let's see. Blitzkrieg, do you plan on doing Auric or Cities of Sigmar lore first? I'm gonna get both books and really look at how much work would be required for each. Because I know the Orc one is simple because I would just do videos based on what the update is. Like, obviously they've added war clans and they're gonna have expanded lore on some other things, so like that would be the easier one. I'm personally more excited to dive into the lore on Cities of Sigmar, but if it looks complicated, then I want to take some time to really unpack it, which of course is just time. So we'll see. That's a I don't know. That's a firm question mark. Just want to say I'm just doing some eyes here, just throwing down the white. Magua man, these new Bonesplitter War Scrolls have me hyped. What do you like about them? I'm curious, because crap, I got it all over his face. Like, what changes really stood out to you that got you excited? Because I'm excited that you are excited. But I was reading them for myself, and maybe I just wasn't seeing the big changes. I mean, they all got their little bonuses for having more than 15 dudes, and I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on. I was just curious as to what stuck out to you. Is there any notable lore / stories in Chamon? Yes. It was one of the opening arcs in the Realm Gate Wars. You can go watch that series on my channel. Basically, it's where Galmaraz was, and so the Celestial Vindicators went down there and had a series of battles, and there's a crazy awesome floating island that has like molten silver flowing off like a waterfall, and they freeze it so they can climb up the waterfall and have this big epic fight. It's really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Let's see. So there's that one. That was the biggest one in Chimera for sure. Also the origins of the Keratin Overlords. I don't know why that was so hard. I'm sorry. Keratin Overlords. If you watch their first video on their series, there's some cool background information for you there as well. Do you ever think then that Beastgrave is the opening move for a bigger story in Gur? I'm not sure, because they haven't really had a time where they've taken like the first step to the next part of the narrative. It came from Underworlds, so if it was, this would be the first of that, which would not be a bad thing. I'm all about that. I really want to do Gur stuff. That's my favorite realm by far. But yeah. Nick, question: are your Beastmen allies going to have a pirate theme? I did conversion on the leader dude of that unit. He's going to be my quote-unquote navigator for my Nurgle pirate, so he has a little telescope on his end of his staff instead of the Beastman symbol thing they come with. So yeah. The damage increases, unit buffs taking effect at 15 and not 20. That's a good point. I forgot about that. It used to be 20. Wardocs are good now because you can choose the effects for sure. That's true. I guess that's something I didn't think about, is not the explicit buffing of certain things, but the removal of conditional words. I think maybe I glossed over it. But that's a good point. Okay, let's do... You can pick our Monster Hunters table effect. That is true. Okay, there's more going on than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't like down on it. I just like, oh, okay, well, yeah. I just assumed it would be there'd be more going on with like allegiance abilities and spell and that kind of stuff. So I was like, I wasn't disappointed. I was just maybe not seeing the whole picture. Question: do you think we'll ever get a Seraphon Warban for Underworlds? I have no idea. I would sure like one. But honestly, I'm not picky. I would just settle for a better Seraphon presence in Age of Sigmar. But it would never surprise me if they like used Underworlds as a way to release one-off models just in general. Like, hey, we want to get rid of Finecast Slawn, so we're going to make a Warband that has a Slawn in it, which I'm not sure if they would do that because it's supposed to be like so supremely powerful, but you know what I mean, like that kind of idea. I'd be super down for that. Let's see. Give me Lord Croak and a warband. I love it. Dak, I agree. I would love to see the Underworld's warbands just be everywhere. 100%. Let's see. The Kurnothi in Warcry as well. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Question, have you seen the coconut crab Tyranid painting video that has been doing the rounds on YouTube? No, I have not. Coconut crab, that's funny. I have not seen that. Question, out of armies you've played thus far, which one is your favorite? Whatever one is currently in front of me. Give you a better answer. I'm trying to think. So in terms of like play style, I don't know. I'm really hoping the Nurgle is, because, you know, I will say that I did get pretty good with Beasts of Chaos. I just got really tired of moving that many models. I feel like Jack would know better. Jack, what was I really good at running? I don't know. That's a really good question. But in terms of hobby projects, it is whatever is in front of me, because everything else is dead to me. So, Leo, question: do you think you might build a Cities of Sigmar force at some point? Yeah, it's definitely possible. Anvil Guard is the one that interests me the most, because I really do like the look of the Scourge Privateers. And it's really the only reason I have. But it kind of depends, because if I know that that's the only kind of city that interests me for that specific reason, then I probably won't do the thing where I use Scourge Privateers as Marauders and Nurgle, which is fine. I just don't want to, have two complete armies that use a lot of the exact same kit. That would get real old. Jack says I am best at running my mouth. Cannot argue. Got me this far. Okay, this guy. Let's see. Question: have you ever thought about hosting a panel at a tournament or a convention? A panel? What would anyone want to talk to me about? I guess, I've never been to a panel. What do people do for those? Because if it's just talk about, like, how to do YouTube stuff, I feel like I have those conversations all the time on this channel. How am I on this night? I'm good. Just painting some eyeballs, hoping not to mess things up too well. I will say this is probably the most successfully I've ever done eyes. So that feels good. Doug, you give advice, talk game shenanigans, lore. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Consider this the first official 2+ Stuff panel. You got questions for me? Question from Dak Jack: do you think that Doug would finally settle when the Warriors of Chaos book drops? What do you think, Jack? You know me. We played in a team tournament together. Our minds have molded into one. Melded. Molded. Notice that a bunch of these guys have these little funny looking goatees. Okay, I got the rest of them. All right. As far as I am aware, that's the one army you have not sold, right? No, I sold them. But those, I will say I sold those more because I want to come back to them. I've become so much better of a painter that I wanted to redo it. So that's one that like, I'm excited to at some point jump back into. So that's one that I got rid of knowing that I would come back around to it. And that's kind of the only faction I've done that with. Yeah. That's fine. I entirely agree to your hobby. Thank you. Well, thank you, Jack. It would be nice. Like certainly as I said before, the point of this project with the Maggotkin is to invest so much time and effort into the project that I no longer want to trade things off. Like keep pushing myself hobby-wise instead of trading factions, dive deeper into hobby. And if I find that is the case, then I would love to expand it to have a bunch of, Nurgle themed Slaves to Darkness, and and then start exploring that space as well. So, and that can lead me to like, Grand Alliance Chaos and just kind of general everything stuff. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. I just realized. Nurgle Pirates is the 2+ tough redemption arc. I'm sure if you had extra room just for Warhammer and display cases. I'm actually strongly considering going down and getting some display cases for that reason. Yeah, someone else pointed that on another stream that like maybe if you displayed it like, you took measures to demonstrate that it meant more to you, that you would hold on to stuff. And I was like, I don't know if it's true. That's a very interesting concept. And also I could put things away without having to get rid of them. I've always liked how the Beasts of Chaos don't believe in civilization, but they do believe in body jewelry, because this guy's got like 6 piercings on him. A bunch of them did. Highly recommend screwing it to the wall. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Hugh, question, do you know about the lore of 40k? I know quite a bit. My information kind of taps out 10 years ago. So, I mean, they already established a lot of what they're doing now then. So you can ask whatever you like. I can try. Let's see. The sound is a bit too low for you. Let me try to adjust. I already got it up as high as I can go. Question: what big move would you like Gordrak to execute if he were put in the spotlight? I would love it if he took down a major... What I'd really love, honestly, is like a campaign book that is Gordrak versus a city, and he takes them to town. Kind of like the old End Times books or Imperial Armor books from Forge World, where it's like a deep, heavy story about one particular battle. So I would love to have like Gordrak just go full nuts, show us how scary he can be on one specific city, so we can like understand it and that kind of thing. If you guys have never read End Times Thanquol, it's actually it still is one of my favorite Warhammer books, because it like gives you the attack on Nuln is one of the coolest things ever. Because they give you details like, here's the city guard dude's name, and you're like, it's not technically important, but it's really cool to like that they created this whole defensive structure and how they busted into the city. Like, I loved reading that, and so I would love to see that for a Gordrak destroying a city, especially if it has big ramifications on the rest of the story. Like, he becomes a big threat and all that stuff. So I just want reasons for him to be scary. Like, put very simply, I want reasons for Gordrak to matter. Because when someone's like, you know, the Fist of Gork, the Prophet of the Wall, that kind of stuff, he better be cool. He better back that up. And I just don't feel like he's really backed it up or had the opportunity narrative-wise to back it up. And that's a problem. How crushing would it be if your city got Gordrak'd? That'd be awesome. I would love it. Edge of the Void first stream. Hello, how are ya? Welcome, welcome. We're just chilling. Painting, chatting about Cities of Sigmar every once in a while. Yeah, I am so excited for that book. I mean, people have been watching the channel for a while now. I've always said, like, the two most important books, Skaven, because it's the most original IP, and anything to do with free people, because we need to know what life is like for average folks from a world building perspective. Give me lore. Is this Underworlds? It is, yes. It is the Warban from Beastgrave, and they're going to ally into my Nurgle army. I actually have the Skates Hunt models, and they just don't speak to me. I don't know if anyone else has that, like the Kurnothi. I just, they're not my jam. I haven't built them yet. I've been looking at all the art and looking at them on the sprues. Maybe if I build them, I'll like it more. Question: what Black Library book would you recommend for an Orc player or a Fire Slayer player? Fire Slayer. There's been a few Fire Slayer ones. I don't know how good it is, but there are some short stories about Fire Slayers. I don't think there's a lot for either faction, if I'm super honest with you. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I have to get back to you because I don't want to say something and then like point you in the wrong direction. But Gordrak, orcs only make momentary appearances in the Realmgate Wars. They have some cool stuff during the time of the campaign book, the Allgates, or Allgates, yeah. That's pretty much it, though, unfortunately. If Gordrak smacked down a God Beast and forced it into smashing some things for him, I think that would be quite entertaining. Oh, yeah. Edge of the Void, Centaurs are okay. The others, meh. Yeah. Part of it is it's a whole army of Rufios. Warband, not an army, but just like Rufios from Hook, and I was like, just not into it. What's good, though, is that Shu from Rerolling Ones is all about them, so whatever gets him excited, I'm excited about. He wants pixie elf wood chicks. He's got it. Order Beastman is a great idea, though. I'd like to see a different set of models. Yeah, one thing I'm going to start doing, I don't know, just reading books and listening to audio stuff for myself rather than doing everything for the channel, just because doing everything for the channel and then having to stop, make content about it, just slows me down. So it's like, man, I gotta know this stuff. So when people are like, hey, what's a good book? You're like, boom, here's a good one. You just kind of be able to right away point people in a good direction. And also just for keeping my sanity. What do you think of Tzeentch, by the way? Demons and Mortals. I wish there was more going on mortal-wise. The Carrick Acolytes are cool, but I wanted more from them, like you know, lore-wise and that kind of thing. The demons are awesome. I love the Zangor, like conceptually and model-wise, they are terrific. I think they're still really good in the game. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about them in a very long time, but I know Enlightened are good. Enlightened on disc. But yeah, good stuff. I think they have a book, City of Secrets, around them that I think is one of the best Age of Sigmar novels, because it kind of shows that like insidiousness of Tzeentch and how ideas are infectious and that kind of thing. That was really, really cool. That's by, I think it's Nick Horth. I'm not quite sure. Maybe C.L. Werner. Question, is Shu's new nickname going to be Rufio? If he gets an entire army of Kurnothi, yes. And I will make him wear a red wig. 100%. Question, what is Archeon planning on? Nothing right now, unfortunately. They have not touched him really at all since the Soul Wars story arc has started, which is unfortunate. Blight's Creek says, Shufio. I love it. I think Zangors are immortals. They start off as human, they get blessed, and they twist into them. There's a few ways that Zangors come. They twist wild beasts, or people can become Zangors. Sometimes it's a spell put on their enemies. There's a few different ways. That was something I kind of touched on in the video. I'm really interested about that. Yeah. But the thing is, they don't have the mortal keyword. That's an interesting idea. Let's see. I don't think they do, because the Beastmen don't. Like, these guys don't. Beast of Chaos. Might be wrong. I'm second guessing myself now. Speaking of cities, what's the best giant creature plus city combo? Cities on the back of giant turtles and elephants. Oh, like my favorite, actually, it's from what's the name of the book? It's right in front of me. Spear of Shadows. That's the book. In Spear of Shadows, there is a city that's built into a giant, like, worm. It's like the realm worm. It just is this giant worm that kind of slowly plods along the surface of Gur. They've built an entire thing into it. That's my favorite. And Clan Pestilence tried to infect it. There was a short story about that, and then they were beaten back at the gates. Oh, there's all kind of cool stuff. But it's like they can make the worm sick, but that kind of ruins everything, so it's a weird balance of that. That city and book is awesome. Yeah, I love it. It was a cool, like, that's the kind of fantasy stuff I like. I'm not so much into the God Beast thing. Was really big in the Realmgate Wars, and then they just kind of never mentioned again. I think they realized the scale was too much, and so then they kind of backed it up to like, okay, maybe not, you know, Ignax the Silver Surfer of dragons that exudes molten silver and then is like a continent. You know, he's New Jersey sized. Let's reel it into like, here's a bug basically that has a city built into it. Like, yes, that's really, we understand. Okay, cool. Cool. And I like that. But I remember doing the Realmgate Wars video on the book God Beast, which is the first, well, I don't think it was the first time they mentioned God Beast, was it? They might have mentioned Ignax earlier. But anyway, it's like the one that really focuses on it, right? It's called God Beasts. And then just a bunch of people in the comments were like, this seems ridiculous and dumb. And then as time has progressed, people were like, how come they never brought this up again? And I was like, I don't know. I think they realized that it wasn't everybody's jam. I got nothing. Just waiting on these to dry. I think these turned out pretty stinking well. Everyone's question. This is for you and Jack. What tutorials would you recommend for doing a cold weather mountain terrain? Cold weather mountain. Honestly, I've never heard of that. I don't think I've ever seen a model that's supposed to be on a cold weather mountain. Let me see. I also don't watch a whole ton of tutorial videos unless it's like I'm looking for something specific. There is... Let me see if it's any good.
White glue. There you go, all ready for the base.
Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I just found one by doing a cursory Google search that looks pretty cool. It is on the YouTube channel Eons of Battle, EONSOFBATTLE. Eons of Battle. It's called How to Create a Realistic Snow Effect. So he does a snow effect, but if you look at the base he uses, it's got rocks and dirt and that kind of stuff, kind of mountainous terrain. That one was a hard one. And Jack's right, you should ask Shu because he's definitely the terrain champion that we all need in our lives. Right, it's far too late for me. Fairly well. Have a good night, Dak. Unfortunately, this is literally watching paint dry. So I might hop off. It's 8 o'clock here. Just because it's taking forever. And then immediately afterwards, I'm going to throw a wash on it. So that's not going to be fun to watch either. So I'll probably go ahead and shut down the party. And hopefully have pictures of these guys up. I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, something like that. It all depends on how long this stuff takes to dry. And by then, my green stuff will come in, and we'll be back with Basapalooza 2019 as we crank out a bunch of bases for everything under the sun. So anyway, friends, I will catch you all very, very soon and talk to you later. Thanks for spending some time with me, and happy wargaming.